Do 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 do. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Do 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 do. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around. And the dreams, they remain, and they've turned around. Who'd have thought we need ya? Who'd have thought we need back here? Where we need back here? Where we need, well, we need 'em a lot, 'cause we got 'em on the spot. Welcome back. 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 Good morning, guys. I don't know if a lot of you remember that, but as an old show from the 1970s called Welcome Back, Carter, starring Gabe Kaplan, who also produced the show, and of course Lawrence Hilton Jacobs and John Travolta were in that. Vinnie Barbarino and I think Washington was his name in that show. And basically it was my spoof on Welcome Back Silver instead of Welcome Back Kata, because I thought Silver was going to come back to us. But guys, I gotta tell you, man, Silver is just not giving up. It's not giving up, even though it's the laggard today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It is just, I mean, hanging on for dear life. It's Hodel, Hodel, hanging on for dear life. Gold, of course, is showing out today, and so we'll talk about that too. All right, good morning, fellow billionaires. This is Silver 5150. I am Silver 5150 with your enhanced morning update for Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. Not a great song this morning, but it was just a welcome back to Silver. Thought it was going to come back to us. Didn't happen. Excuse me. Now, I hope you had a great evening, and I hope you're ready for some fireworks today in the markets. I got to tell you, I'm actually exhausted from all the excitement the last few days. I did. I need to step out and take a break. I didn't watch the markets last night. I was thinking, like, you know what? They're going to do what they're going to do. I had an idea about what they're going to do. But anyway, that's just, how it goes. It's the markets, it's dynamic, it's going to cause you to drink Malox, like water, if you're not careful, and we just deal with that. All right, so before we get into wealth cycles and all that, I want to share with you guys a story. Now, we got a lot of nice 10-ounce offerings here. We got a little bit of gold, okay? Got some 10-ounce offerings here. All right, but I want to go ahead and share a story with you guys. Now, you may or may not remember, if you guys were here long enough watching my videos, you may remember my full stack interview with a gentleman called Mechanic. Now, he's an older guy, a friend of mine. And he can pretty much fix anything, which is why he's codenamed the Mechanic. All right, cool dude. I cannot say enough about him. Okay, well, he calls me Tuesday. He calls me on Tuesday as I'm winding up my morning shift, and I was driving, and he was wanting some help trying to source some quality 100-ounce bars. Okay, which would normally not be a problem for him, but his eyes were giving him a bit of trouble that day. So I was like, I don't have a lot of time, but you know what? I think I can help. I'm like, are you going to be home in an hour? And as it turns out, he would be. So as soon as I got done, I shot over to his place on the other side of town and placed the order for him. So I had to do it inside his home, in his office and stuff. So I'm Silver 5150, and not only do I love stacking silver, but I love ordering silver for those who need help stacking silver. I love it. I love shopping for silver. I love placing orders and stuff. I'm kind of fast at it. So my local friends know that if they get in the pickle, they can call me because I can get some stuff ordered fast. I can spend your money faster than you can talk about it. Okay? Yeah, that's my gift. All right. But anyway, so now what I didn't tell you is that the Mechanic wanted to pay cash. Okay? He wanted to pay cash, and so I placed the order under my AppMex account as an e-check. But the deposit of cash I would put in my bank immediately after I got it, okay, to make sure that the check, when it arrived, when AppMex, wanted to draw the money, it would be there. So yes, I used AppMex. I did, all right, because I remember seeing some vintage Johnson Matthey 100-ounce bars the past weekend. So last weekend I saw those on the website. So I punched them up, I put them in the cart, and I waited patiently for the Mechanic to return from his other office where he kept his vault, where he was going to get the cash that he was going to pay me with. Okay, this took him some time, but I refused to check on him. I knew his eyes were bothering him, but just for the sake of his privacy, I didn't go into the other room and say, "Hey, man, what you doing?" You know, I wanted to make sure that I have no idea where he keeps his stuff, and that was his private thing, and so I left it for him to do. But it took him some time. All right. 12 minutes later, he finally comes into the office with the cash, and it's equivalent to the original buy price. Man, these capsules don't stay on here very well, but they work good enough. See if we can make too much noise. This is the back of the Samurai 10-ounce bar. You guys have seen a video for that. I don't need to introduce, but, you know, that's how it looks. Here's the front. Here's the back. So he comes from the office with the cash, okay? And so there's a 5-minute hold. If you guys don't know this, if you buy something on Atmex and you put stuff in the cart, all right, there's a 5-minute hold on Atmex's cart clock, and it counts down. And if you don't make the purchase in 5 minutes, it'll reset the price automatically for you. All right. So I ended up actually recycling the price a total of 3 times, you know, while we were doing all that. Twice when he wasn't there and then once when he was. But it worked out because silver, when I was watching on the news, the TV it had on, he had the ticker scrolling on the bottom there on the news show that I was watching. It showed that silver was actually cooling off towards the market close, which is around that time of the day. So this brought the price down each time the clock, you know, reset itself. Okay. And then leveled off, and it looked like it was about to head back up. The price was. And so he walks in. He walks in with the money. He's like, "Why aren't you clicking? You know, place my order. You know, click place my order." And I'm like, "Well, hang on. You know, I recycled this thing twice, and each time the price has come down a little bit with the market drop. You know, Atmex is at least pretty accurate with that. They can get that part right." So I'm sitting there, and I was thinking, you know, it's like we started you out, you know, at 51.62.48 for the 2 bars. And guys, of course, what does that mean? 200-ounce bars. Think about this. At that time, this is on Tuesday. Those bars were $2,581.24 a piece. And that was a steal because they were like some of the last 2 on the shelves. They're gone, by the way. Okay. But anyway, we started you out at 51.62.48 for the 2 bars. Okay. Then recycle, and the price came down to 51.58. Okay. 13. Okay. And then again, after 5 more minutes, I recycled it again, and it came out to 51.53.04. Now you guys notice that the price is going down every single time. So then I was like, okay, we got 12 seconds left on this cycle before it resets. I think we can save you some more money. Let's see if we can save you some more money. So the clock zeros and it recycles. And guys, I'm not making this up. Okay, this is no joke. Here is the actual printout of the final buy price order on my Atmex account. Now I've had a lot of stuff folded out so you can't see it for my personal security, but here is the final bill. You got the 2 100-ounce Johnson Matthey bars, okay, from Atmex. All right, and that was the spot price at that time. You know, that's not the spot price now. And the unit price was this amount, okay, per bar. But that is the final cost. Now, guys, take a minute to think about that. He called me from the other side of town in the middle of the day on an emergency transfer for him to buy some silver bars. These are the last 2 on Atmex's shelf. I cycled the thing 3 times, and the final price came out to $51.50 and 0 cents. All right? I think that's pretty cool. But the reason why I don't think it's that cool is because, you know, look. Yeah, he got the last bars, sure. And he's very happy he's getting the bars, sure. And of course, I'm a little jealous, okay? But I'm telling you, if you think God doesn't send you signs where you need to be there, I'm telling you, it happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time. I really didn't have time to help him, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to not help him get his bars. So I did what I had to do to help him get those 2 100-ounce bars. And this was the final buy price for him, okay? I mean, how cool is that? So yeah, I think that's pretty great. You know, look, the thing is, you know, I don't even question anymore. Things happen with me. I hear God's voice. He tells me to do stuff. I don't even question anymore. He says jump. I say, how high? And that's it. So anyway, the mechanic did his part in slaying the Comex dragon by pulling 200 ounces of premium Johnson Matthey silver off the shelves. Okay. And hey, I am happy with that. Great job, mechanic. Great job. And by the way, I didn't get my 1,110th ounce Buffaloes 2 days ago from Money Mills Exchange. Yesterday. I checked my comments once I arrived at the destination we drove to yesterday morning, only to find out that they've been mysteriously sold out. I was looking at the comments like, oh, they don't have them anymore. I really need to remember who I spout my plans to, especially with you guys around. You guys, yeah, I can't be like, hey guys, I'm going to buy this right here. And next thing I know, it's out of stock. No, I'm serious. You guys are awesome, man. All right? You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you helping me clear the shelves. I'm doing my part. You're doing your part. And if the Comex with its shenanigans doesn't break things down, I think we're going to break things down pretty good. Anyway, we're going to do our part. Silver for the people. You know me. I'm all about silver for the people. So I'm going to try a market report, but I'm going to tell you again, guys, this stuff is just too dynamic. Precious metals right now, they are just too dynamic. All right. Okay. Let's just start with stocks. Stock futures, they're up about 1/3% right now on news of the stimulus coming out and the United States finally making a move, even though the European Union has already made their move. So there's still some euphoria there, but I don't know. Again, I said yesterday stocks wouldn't close in the green, but they did, barely. It could happen again today. We could have a repeat of today, but I just don't see any strength in equities right now because they're at pretty postmodern highs, over 27,000 on a Dow. But I mean, let's see if they can eke out something else. If they eke out 1/4% a day for the next month, that's going to be some pretty good gains, and we'll probably see all-time highs in stock market. But for now, yeah, the most Russell 2K, the Nasdaq, the S&P, the usual suspects, the Dow, they're all tracking in the green. Like I said, about 1/3%, and it looks like they're going to close out decent today. Never know. The metals today, I thought gold and silver were finally taking a breather, but to be honest, even though the euro, seems a little tired, and actually now it doesn't, and the dollars, had enough of being sold off, I would think this is a really healthy precious metals market. This is a really healthy bull market in precious metals. So that's going to put pressure on other asset classes in and of itself. It really is. So I would like to make a prediction about what I think is going to happen. All right. But, it's just going to kind of be fly by wire. All right. But any market that's going to be healthy and going to give us long-term gains, if we expect to have consistent long-term gains, there has to be occasional pullbacks. And I don't know how big the pullback's going to be. And sometimes those pullbacks won't even happen day to day. They'll happen intraday. All right. A pullback intraday means that, sometimes while the market's trading during the day, in the middle of the day, there'll be this huge dip, but it'll only last an hour or so. All right. Now, this new precious metals market we're in, this new bull market that we're in, this thing has some serious legs. It really does. And I mean, it's essentially on enhancing performance substances. It's just on steroids. So yeah, right now gold is up, about almost 1%, almost full percent, 0.9%, to about 1882. And then of course silver is trailing behind. Silver's the laggard today. So remember what I said about the tether, the rubber tether on silver to gold. So gold pulled silver along, and silver's like okay, and then finally that rubber band got too tight, and it's all bang, and so silver started catching up and closing the gold to silver ratio these last 3 days, and now the rubber band's gotten loose again. So silver's kind of like okay, and gold's taking off again. So with that in mind, silver having broke all of its recent highs. The problem is not what silver's going to do next. The problem is gold at 1882 going to pass its old 2011 high, or the all-time high of 1921 back in 2011. Now see, silver has already broken down all kinds of technical barriers where it's at right now. But if gold, the big boy, breaks its all-time high in the history of mankind, like today or tomorrow, sorry, but dude, it's going to be a full blowout in precious metals markets. So if you guys are still accumulating, you better hope that silver doesn't do that. I mean, the gold doesn't do that. The gold doesn't break out of its all-time high, in the history of mankind. In the history of mankind, 1921. Just keep an eye on that. Let's see, where can we go today? Oh yeah, so I was talking to a subscriber yesterday, and I was like trying to make a prediction and stuff. And the predictions, please, they're designed to make it look like an idiot, all right? But I was expecting there was going to be a slight pullback, by the end of the close today. It could happen. Not seeing it right now. Then slightly flat to down tomorrow. Okay. And then a sharp pullback Monday morning. That's what I was expecting. A little bit down today, a little bit down tomorrow, and then a sharp pullback Monday morning. And then right in the middle of the day, do an intraday correction and start blasting upward again. So we'd have like a 40-hour window to do some purchasing if we want it. But I might end up with egg on my face by the end of the day or tomorrow. Okay. We're in uncharted territory, guys. We're in uncharted territory. Okay. By the way, did you know, this is a little bit about the Comex, did you know that the Comex sold 2 billion ounces of silver over the last 2 days? They sold 2 billion ounces of silver over the last 2 days. Yeah, that's 200,000 contracts each day, 5,000 paper ounces of silver per contract, okay? And of course, the paper silver is designed to dilute the physical silver, this stuff here, okay? Which I don't think the Comex actually even has any anymore, guys. These deliveries that are supposed to be made, yeah, I don't think they have any. Physical silver, I don't think they have it. I think whatever they can deliver for the July quarter has to be leased right now from, commercial bank like JP Morgan or BlackRock. And I think those guys are like, hey, wait a minute now. Are we going to get this back? Are we going to get our silver back? So now those delivery contracts I'm talking about for July, they expire on the 31st. Okay, and if the Comex fails to deliver on any of them, they are in default. The Comex will be in default. Excuse me. So like if you fail to pay your bills, or if I fail to pay my bills, or the interest on our debt, we are in default, and they will come after us, bill collectors and all that, right? So if the Comex defaults on their obligations by the end of the month, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or the CME group we talk about, who are the custodians of the Comex, has to declare what's called a force majeure. Force majeure. Force majeure. Hang on for a second. Now, that's much better. Yes, I like that better. Come on. Okay. And force majeure is just a fancy way of saying, I'm trying to get the shadow out of here. Force majeure is just a fancy way of saying that they'll release the Comex from its contractual delivery obligations for July due to unexpected stresses on inventories. So basically, the CME will absolve the Comex from having to deliver any more silver. All right. Now, so what does that sound like? Okay. It's a default. Look, forget September obligations that are coming in October, okay, for delivery, which are already building up, and they're way bigger. The orders are way bigger than the ones currently. The July scandal that we have right now, if they default, will have already caused so much fear and uncertainty in the commodities markets that October won't even matter. October won't even matter. I don't even think we'll make it to October delivery time if they can't pull this together here in July. So they are selling 1 billion ounces of derivative silver at a loss every day. Now, this is the kind of energy the precious metals market has right now. I'm talking about gold and silver in particular. But they're selling, okay, 1 billion ounces of derivative silver at a loss every day with no physical underlying asset. And they are responsible for setting the market price for silver. Think about that. So they have no way to gauge or sell or deliver obligations for a physical asset that they're responsible for setting the price for. This is the ultimate in naked shorting. I mean, this makes naked shorting, look, it's an insult to naked shorting actually. So if the Comex goes bye-bye, commodities will set their prices themselves. Gold and silver, they will set their prices based on just conversation and people trying to transact or trade. I really can't tell you what's going to happen after that. If the Comex defaults, I really can't. But it gives me the shivers because, again, uncharted territory. Which finally brings us to our topic of wealth cycles. Now, yesterday we talked about wealth cycles. All right, and they're basically, wealth cycles are basically a set of booms and busts. It's a series of booms and busts wherein you're either on the wrong side of the trade or the right side of the trade. If you guys don't know what that means, you need to start learning about, asset trading. Because basically, so the wrong side of trade means if you're just waiting for it to go up, it goes down, okay? And if you're waiting for it to go down, it goes up. That means you were wrong, okay? Wrong side of trade. So I think that we are entering, like I said, the precious metals wealth cycle right now. And as we work through it, there's going to be a subset wealth cycle that will occur within it, and that'll be base metals like copper. That'll be in the lead of those base metals, or that base metals wealth cycle within the precious metals wealth cycle. They'll kind of overlap a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that copper will become the next precious metal. It's just a bit too common. But as an inflation absorption device, copper can certainly absorb inflation. Okay? Yeah. All right, here we go. So for you guys that haven't seen it, this is the famous Exodus Pyramid. Exodus Pyramid. Let's go ahead and get down here. So Exodus Pyramid, all right, is basically where the most illiquid assets, which is like these derivatives and all that stuff right there, right? The most illiquid assets here on top get destroyed during a financial collapse first. They're the first ones to go because the further you move down the line, the more solid it is. But yeah, so these are the first ones to go. Then they try to transform themselves integrate themselves into more liquid asset types, like down here. Okay? Now, these, just because they say that they're commodities and businesses and real estate, all they really are, guys, are loans. Just loans, credit. I mean, sure, there's brick and mortar and structures and paper commodities, but mostly they're just claim checks on the physical underlying assets in question. These. Okay? That's all this represents, are the loans and the credit involved with trying to hold on to those things. Now, unfortunately, like overinflated tires, these flimsy assets, okay, they end up blowing out from all the pressure of the financial meltdown because they're not real. None of this stuff is real. Then they take all this toxic crap down with them. All the toxic crap, it flows down into, right, with them and tries to transform into all this right here. They try to integrate all this into this right here. And you see, because the energy from this, from these assets right here, when they implode, that energy doesn't go away. It simply adds to the asteroid that's headed for impact. Okay? So through the government bonds and the corporate bonds and the municipal bonds, all right? And they take it all with them. All of this ends up coming down through here. And of course, these blow out this and these blow out that and this blows out. And once this blows out, now it tries to make itself and feed its way into the paper currencies, blows out the paper currencies, okay, right? Blows out the paper currencies. They end up, like the dollar going to zero and all this stuff I always talk about, right? And then all that finally force feeds its way into real hard money. And that's the gold right here, okay? Well, actually gold and silver. But look down here. You can barely see the silver, okay? I had to write that in there because that's how tiny the silver is. Chris Dwayne from Greatest Truth Never Told, he did this with his version too. He added the silver and stuff. But I'm going to top him today. He'll probably yell at me later. He doesn't know who I am. But even though he doesn't, he'll probably yell at me. Who the hell put copper on there? Anyway, so look here. But instead of silver and gold blowing out, when all of this makes its way down into gold and silver, because that's the thing. These things get destroyed. They make their ways down into gold and silver. And gold and silver, instead of blowing out like all these other assets do, okay, they simply expand outward and they get bigger and they get bigger, okay? Now you guys realize I'm talking about the value now. Gold and silver revaluating to greater and greater purchasing power. So that's what they're actually expanding, to perceived value. Their perceived value starts to go up when all of these people, because it's just human psychology we're talking about, people scrambling, trying to get out of these assets and get into something that's not going to blow out, and they all end up trying to rush into here with gold and silver, and you can see how tiny silver is, right? But yeah, that's what's actually expanding their perceived value when all that stuff comes down in here. And I told you this is probably on the order of 10 to 14 quadrillion dollars worth of financial garbage. Okay? It could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more, but even if it's 4 quadrillion, you can see what happens when all of that dollar valuated stuff tries to come into gold. The dollar value just goes right to the roof. And I said infinity. Infinity is right, because honestly, who's going to start counting after $1,400 trillion? Nobody. Okay. But anyway, it's the same amount of gold and silver, but their perceived value at that point, transforming, instead of being transformed by this garbage, they're transforming this garbage into good, clean purchasing power. All of this flows into this, okay? And so you think about it and you're going, that sounds like wealth cycles. That sounds like instead of us chasing after this wealth right here, it comes to us, okay? All this flows into our asset classes, and instead of us chasing after it, it comes to us. So the entire wealth cycle, okay, the paper wealth cycle, dies an honorable death in a gold and silver grave. But where's copper in all this? Where's copper in all this? Well, I think the thing is, and this is just my theory, that gold and silver certainly won't blow out from all of this, stuff that's going to be coming in. All right? But they'll glow so bright because there's such tiny, tiny markets. They'll glow so bright from having all of that bad economic energy turned into good economic energy. All right? That they will actually shine on the copper. You got the question mark right there with copper. All right. So after all, copper's been money for nearly as long as its noble brothers. Okay. And it's just unglamorous and unnoticed, but, it has been coined and all that stuff and used in history. But look, okay, let's get it this way. If I went to a nightclub with The Rock and Jason Statham, even my ugly mug would get approached simply from being in proximity with them or being part of their group. Okay? So whatever gold and silver doesn't want to be bothered with, copper will gladly accommodate. Copper will gladly facilitate, and it'll do it well. I think it's going to happen. Now, I can't give you a timeline on that, but I bet it won't be very long because all this stuff that's happening right now is happening at a speed that we've never witnessed either. Okay, look how fast. Like, think about this year. Everything that's happened this year. All the things that first the oil closing under zero, and silver going down to $11, and the 30-year fixed rate going down to 0.59 of a less than almost 0.5%. All these crazy things that have happened. Stimulus of $3 trillion, $6 trillion. All this stuff is happening like the last 7 months. Okay, and it's going to speed up. So it's not going to take long for gold and silver to experience the overflow from this, and of course, copper is going to be right there. So we might see some of this year. We might see some of it. Well, I know we're going to see some next year. All right. So that was my point about copper being part of that and part of the wealth cycle, being part of the new wealth cycle, how it would happen. Okay. All right. Look, here my point is this: there has been so much financial malfeasance by governments and banks and corporations for so long that it will be the biggest wealth transfer in history, guys. Because it's the biggest financial Frankenstein in history. They've made it, and they don't even know what they made. This thing, it is the biggest financial Frankenstein in history. So look, let's grab this sucker. Let's grab it. Let's grab this sucker, and let's feast on it. Okay? Using silver, gold, and copper. Yes, and cryptos too. Crypto guys, yes, cryptos too, but only those that are backed by silver, copper, and gold. Look, I mean, imagine a crypto called Copper Coin. I'd use it. Okay? I would. Copper Coin. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Let's go ahead and remove this because we want to close on some nice metal. Okay? All right. That's all I have for today. I hope you've got something out of this deep dive into the future wealth cycles, and you'll make a purchase on this nice pullback day that I'm predicting. Let's pull back today. But yeah, if not today, tomorrow, and if not, tomorrow, Monday. All right? But anyway, I'm Silver5150 telling you guys that your stack is not whacking, that just 10 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. So again, I'll either catch you guys today in a random post, because sometimes I like to come on and talk about nothing for no reason, all right? Or if the market gets really crazy, you'll hear from me too. Otherwise, it's the morning update tomorrow. Ciao, Bella.